Welcome back to another episode of Vitals and Values. This episode, I hate to say this because I hope we're all on the same page, but it is a conversation that needs to be had and it needs a little bit of nuance, but I think a harsh reality check, which is alcohol. And where does alcohol sit into a healthy lifestyle, and where is the data currently on the consumption of alcohol? Because as we get into the context and nuance here, and like where's the data at, it is weird to me. And I drink twice a year.
Since we have met, I've seen you drink twice.
I had a beer with Pat. It was a garage beer with Pat. Love you. And then what was the second time?
I can't remember, but I know there was a second time.
There probably is a second, but yeah, those are the two.
And I wanted to say that too. Like, it's as we get into this conversation, it's not that we don't ever drink. Like, I love a good glass of wine, and I like to drink if it's a good glass of wine. But
barefoot.
No, I like my wine stick up in friends and similar. But yeah, it's not like we're saying it's something you can never do.
Mm-hmm. But I think I would like to hammer this down because for the diet culture out there, for all this kind of stuff, let's get very clear. Alcohol is the socially accepted / almost incentivized lifestyle thing, product, whatever, that is a class 1 known carcinogen that kills about 100,000 plus people a year due to overdose / all the multitude of things from
problems
alcohol
that come from it.
So the amount of people, and this may hurt some feelings here, the amount of people who are afraid of aspartame or artificial sweeteners or non-GMO foods or all this stuff, but they find a way to justify alcohol consumption blows my friggin' mind. Okay, there's my rant. Okay, Lara, you can take over. Give us the hard science here.
Yeah. So the thing we know about alcohol is that, as you said, it's a class 1 carcinogen. And for those who don't use that word often, it just means it can cause cancer.
We know it causes cancer.
Yes. And we know that there is no level of alcohol consumption that gets you out of that. Like, that's just, even if you have a smaller amount or a larger amount, it does increase your risk for cancer. There's a lot of research on breast cancer, specifically colon cancer, that those two things do go up with any amount of alcohol consumption. So it's not saying, because I think people, when you say that, people are always like, well, my grandma lived to be 95 and she drank like a sailor or something like that. And that's fine. If grandma lived and drank that way and smoked, and like, great, good for her. But we still know the risks are worse if you do that. And so you can, if you don't care that the risks go up and you just want to play with the chance that you'll get cancer later or not, feel free. Mm-hmm. Just be informed.
And I think as we kind of unpack more of the science too, it's more than just cancer risk. There's other stuff in there. What other stuff you got to be concerned about?
Well, the one thing that I always remember, the one thing that I when I was in residency and you're working inpatient all the time, I just remember admitting so many people for alcohol-related problems and watching many people die of liver cirrhosis. And I just remember thinking, if I could pick,
it's a horrible way to go.
It's a terrible way to go. If I had to pick what?
Can you kind of break that down a little bit? Because I think people understand, like, end of life cirrhosis, liver failure.
Terrible. So when you
what do these people look like? What's happening?
So people have often heard that their skin turns yellow, and that can be the case, but that's not the worst of it. And the reason is because these toxins are building up in their body because their liver is so scarred and damaged that it can't take care of the other, like, true toxins in your body, or however you want to word it, but that it cannot get rid of those things. And so they build up in your body, to say it simply. And so you can end up with things called encephalopathy, meaning these people, like, mentally can be not there. They get something called ascites, which is what I remember seeing a lot of, where their belly gets full of water, and it can be very painful, very uncomfortable. They have to get it drained frequently. It's just very unpleasant. They can get something called it's varices. Yes. So varices are these blood vessels in the esophagus that can get enlarged and bleed and cause major problems. So those are just a few of the many problems that you can see with
Painful.
cirrhosis. And this is a process that is like, once you have it, you can't get rid of it. And it tends to just, if people aren't stopping drinking, it gets worse and worse and worse. And it's not a fast process. So this is something that people deal with for a long time. It's a very miserable thing to watch.
Yeah, and it's that that balance. I know Mom and I have talked like, and this is it's easy for us to say because I mean, again, I drank in college, like, and you've only pretty much heard vicariously through storytelling of what because generally speaking, so many things in life when you become on this transformative health journey of obviously the obesity side of things, it tends to fold into other areas of life. And like you just saw the writing on the wall, if you want to be honest with yourself, that it was like, all right, I'm doing all these things. I'm trying to eat as much whole food as possible. Keyword trying. I ate fish last night.
And broccoli.
And broccoli.
He's
and
making progress.
Potatoes. And so you're doing this, you're thinking about macros, you're thinking about micros, and then you're just throwing in alcohol. And I had two angles to it. Number one, there's the genetic side for our family. My dad has this too, where I have more than 2 drinks. I'm so hungover the next day. My stomach in particular. Like, so it's not, if I were, like I did in college, because that's what you do, at least at Central Michigan University.
You don't at Kelvin University.
Yeah, it was not the thing, but like the thing for us. So like the people who could go 3 nights in a row, wild to me. Even back then when I was the partier, I was 1 night a week and I would get trashed, or maybe 2, but like
there's a lot of people that feel crummy and they still do it.
it's fascinating. But it was so bad for me. I get so nauseated. Like there was the recovery time was so big. I didn't have that huge incentive where some people genetics of how the body metabolizes the alcohol or whatever. I get so hungover so easy, so I don't have that huge like that simple recovery process.
Positives do not outweigh the negatives.
Yeah. And so like it made that process a lot easier for me to pull back on alcohol. But I don't know where I was going with this story. We were talking about my previous drinking days, but I don't really drink anymore. But yeah, I guess looking back on it now, it's like it's easy for me to say I just don't really drink. Tip of the day for anyone listening: if you want free drinks at a bar, tell everyone you don't drink alcohol. Because the amount, like when I go, I'll still go to the bars. I still have a fun time. I'll go with all the buddies, but I don't drink. And then it's like, as soon as you tell people you don't drink, everyone and their grandma is like, I'll buy you a drink. I'll buy you your first drink. So tip of the day, just say you don't drink at a bar.
We don't. And I mean, we had this conversation before together that I don't understand why so many people want somebody else to drink alcohol so badly. Because I'm like, if they don't want to drink, let them be.
I remember I was going to the story.
Yes.
Go back to the ascites and all that kind of stuff. And just trying to give context that I still drink. It's pretty rare, but it happens. You still drink more than me, but it's not compared to most people.
Oh.
But going into the whole thing of fatty liver disease that comes from alcohol, and then when that transition from alcohol turns into cirrhosis and this damage, and once cirrhosis occurs, there's no reversing it. And so like it's a balance here as we talk about this conversation. Yes, there's cancer risk. Yes, there's cirrhosis risk. Yes, there's all these other things. But to be real, it's more doom and gloom than it is benefit. I'm just gonna be honest here, but keep going. Sorry.
No, I think that people don't even know how much is too much. Because I've had people, I don't drink that much, and they tell you what they're drinking and the amount, and it's way over recommendations. So the recommendations are no more than, for men, 2 drinks in a day.
Okay.
And
How do you
women?
define a drink?
Yes. So it depends on what we're drinking because the alcohol content of each type of beverage is very different.
Yep.
So for a 12
shots of Everclear. What are we rocking here?
Everclear is.
It's like straight like rubbing alcohol.
Oh, okay. Well, for those like hard liquors we're talking about, the a drink is 1.5 fluid ounces, and then if you're talking about a beer, a standard 12-ounce beer is a drink. And then for wine, it's generally a 5-ounce pour. And then I ran across that if you're drinking malt liquor, it's 8 to 9 ounces, which I have no idea who's drinking malt liquor. But in case someone's out there, apparently that's
9 ounces.
So now you know. But and this is so you're not supposed to drink, like I said, 4 health benefits. More than 2 a day for men, 1 a day for female, and that's an average over a week time.
Okay. So I can save it up
I
all to
suppose if
one
you
and get
really
hammered.
wanted to, but I don't think that's the idea here.
I don't know where I was going with this, but
You're gonna hold back.
I'm gonna digress. I'm back.
So I think that people think, well, it's just a drink. But as you said, it's not as benign as you may think. Even if your whole family lived and drank and was fine, just remember it doesn't matter. Your body, if your genetics are good, you might be lucky, but it's not good for your body. That is
Mhm.
just summary.
Now, as we kind of transition to the past the doom and gloom
Mhm.
and the harsh reality check of alcohol, what is your way of like dealing with a patient on balancing, hey, it's okay to drink in moderation. It's not a huge risk if you keep it to that 1 to 2 drinks a week on average, and that whole process. How do you have that conversation with a patient, especially the ones that you know are probably doing more than that?
You have to try to build the trust that they actually tell you what they're doing. And then you have to try to meet them where they're at because if someone's not ready to make a change, there's not much that you're going to do to get them to decrease significantly. But for some patients, like I had a recent guy who really just wanted to be healthier. So we were talking about his alcohol consumption and it was higher than I would recommend. And so we talked about it a lot. We did his lab work, we did his body composition, we did a lot of the things. And he was really doing pretty well. So there wasn't anything that stuck out dramatically as being a impact of his alcohol consumption. So he was like, "Great, I can keep drinking." And I'm like, "Well, you may be able to, 'cause maybe it's rage and he can keep drinking that way and be fine. But as you age, that may change, and that's where these things start to just slowly build.
Mm.
It's not like you can go back 20 years and change what you did. So think about it
Now, when unpacking that with a here's one for you, just off the rip. So it's like, obviously, we think about moderation when it comes to food and sweets and all this kind of stuff. From your point of view, is it better to have a abstinent mindset towards alcohol, or is it better to have a moderation mindset? At least from like, we'll put it this way, with like clinical application. I
Yeah.
don't know, with a couple thousand patients you've dealt with over the
Mhm.
years, thinking about what has worked better, what have you looked into, what tends to, because some people, again, it's the binge and snap
Right.
method.
I mean, I think it is very dependent on the type of person. And because alcohol is like can be very addictive to some people, right? And
Mhm.
some people have no problem with it. And so I think you have to know how alcohol impacts you. If it can easily become a true addiction where you cannot stop, no, despite you knowing that it's doing harm and it's affecting your life negatively, then you are probably somebody that I'd recommend considering just stopping and not drinking at all. Now, I've had plenty of patients that were able to cut back on it and they do fine. Like, I don't know that it's necessarily one or the other. I think it's person dependent. And some of that I think does come down to genetics because a lot of the addictive personality type effects can seem to run in families. So I think knowing what your family history is, which is a whole nother topic, is very important there as well.
Yeah, and see on this front, funny story time. I still this is always a fascinating one to me. I've talked to you about this before, but it's the idea of people who get so drunk they black out. I don't understand it. Like, I've been so drunk, I puked in my bed, but I remembered all of it in college. Like this idea that people can get so drunk that they lose gaps of time. If that happened to me, I'd be so terrified to ever drink again. I'd be like, wait. So you're telling me for the last 3 hours, I have no idea what I did? I'd be like, yeah, I'm not going to do that
But see,
ever again.
some people want that, right? Some
Yeah, that's
people
true.
want to lose certain parts of their life. Yeah.
Escapism and
So it depends on
now, I know we didn't do a lot of due diligence to this, but like from like so we're gonna put this in the under the caveat of kind of values and focus and nuance because this conversation comes a lot. I'll ask you first,
yeah.
but I'll kind of reinforce it as well.
Yeah.
I've been told different types of alcohol are better for you and some are worse. What are your thoughts?
Alcohol is a specific molecule, and it doesn't matter whether it came from a organic farm in yes, an organic agave farm in wherever they grow that, or it came from somebody's bathtub formulation.
Ooh, that's a real moonshine right there, boy.
Like it doesn't matter. It's still alcohol. It's still ethanol. And so I wouldn't hold my hat. If you
Yeah,
were telling yourself that my alcohol is better, I'm sorry.
I get that one the same time all the time. Like I have people so well, David, I know you say alcohol is bad for you. And I get that. But I'm drinking 100% agave tequila. It absorbs differently through the liver. It's not as bad as like bourbon. I hate to break it to you. I've never really done my due diligence, but knowing that the active ingredient of alcohol and what it actually is doing,
how that works.
It doesn't pass the smell test.
Well, and I think it's similar to how people, I haven't heard it as much recently, but when I was younger, I would always hear people talking about how, well, if you drink your red wine, it's good for you, right? Well,
Resveratrol.
there are healthy components to red wine. That does not negate the fact that alcohol is still bad for you. So don't go telling yourself you can have a 10-ounce pour of Merlot every night, which may or may not be something my dad did. Sorry, Dad. At least I saw him do it. The benefits are not going to outweigh the negative. You can get your resveratrol from other sources.
Well, that's I was about to bring it up. So my previous network marketing days, one of the second companies I did, that was one of their main marketing points, was resveratrol. It's been scientifically proven to be so good for you. So they had a supplement of this like juicy drink that had a bunch of resveratrol in it. I sold the crap out of that.
Well,
I gimmicked all the marketing.
How do you feel about yourself now?
At the time, for what I knew,
fine.
Yeah. Hindsight, this is where things get weird to me. When trying to be like having good character and knowing that when you give grace, just like Jesus gives us grace to our past sins, like that whole, and then you get into this game of, well, if you are habitually reinforcing a sin and you're not attempting to even try to change it, do you really care? And the same thing with this, it's like, there's nothing wrong with being wrong. The problem is when you become aware that you're wrong and you do it anyways, and you read like that blows my mind. My character and moral compass, I can't wrap my head around knowing that, all right, I know what I'm selling right now is nonsense, but money's more important to me, so I'm gonna do it anyways. Like I don't get it. Like because at the time, I mean, looking at all the diet culture stuff I fell into, and all the supplements you probably didn't need to sell, and the types of foods I was eating because I thought I needed to, and being, again, that's just, you were unaware at that time whether, and this is why I fell in love with learning clinical research and how to read clinical methodology and all that stuff, because I didn't want to get duped by somebody else again. Someone making a claim, and then here's your source, and that's not what it says, or it's a really bad study. And like, I don't want to fall for that, but it blows my mind how many immoral people there are. Whether they lie to themselves, I really don't care, that they find out a piece of information is not true and they still reinforce it to make money in particular, or leverage like credibility, whatever. I don't get it. I just don't. My character, my moral compass, my value in being a high moral individual is more important to me than money. But give grace. Yeah, I used to make that same mistake.
Well, that's why, I mean, we could sell in our clinic a lot of different supplements to make money, but I'm not going to do that if I don't think that specific product is going to actually provide benefit to people.
Mm-hmm.
So I get you.
Yeah. And then so it is so funny because I've been on two very polar positions of the health industry, where it's like, funny. I literally went from the selling every supplement, everything under the sun, to like, I almost don't recommend anything.
A humility, David. Good job.
I try. But back to alcohol.
Yes. Well, I was going to say, you were speaking of values and focus.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is something to consider. When you were talking about how you don't really drink and I drink some, but a little bit more than you, not a lot. I think it is important to surround yourself by the type of people that you want to be influenced by, because before I met you, I drank a little bit more. I still was never a big drinker, but because we are together now and you don't drink, I drink very little, and I'm totally fine with that. I could care less. But if you are surrounding yourself with people that all they want to do is party and drink, you're probably going to drink a little bit more. So if that's not something that you want, you don't think it's good for your health, you're trying to get away from, don't put yourself around people that's what they want to do.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, this is caveats into every avenue of life. If you frivolously spend and you surround yourself with people who frivolously spend, and you are trying to change that behavior, do you think you're going to find it easy or hard to stop the behavior if all the people you surround yourself with frivolously spend? It's going to be difficult. If you are trying to limit alcohol consumption and you surround yourself with people that their only desire is to pop open that beer at 5:02, and you think that you're going to somehow create moderation from that, good luck. Weight loss. You think if all the friends and family you surround yourself with, all they care about is eating the most nutrient dense or most calorically dense, hyper processed foods and always being obsessed with fast food and this and that and this, and then you're going to magically change? Good luck. Law of association, it like messes with everybody. It doesn't mean you have to burn old bridges, but it probably will tell you you should start finding a new 80% of people you want to surround yourself with so you don't get pulled down into old behaviors. And so I mean that one's so true in so many different avenues and people have a hard time with that because it's that fear of like, well, what if I change friend groups and I can't find new friends because of it? And then that's that whole people get mental on that. We can always make new friends. But yeah, people get so caught up in like, hey, you are the 5 closest people you surround yourself with. And if you don't like the life they're living,
with them.
you're going to have to make new people. You're going to make new friends. Like, that's just the reality. I've gotten used to it.
You have. I mean, people do it to me all the time too. I just like, it just annoys me that people feel the need to do that.
See, it doesn't surprise me, though. It's projections of insecurity. Like, I think when push comes to shove, and this is why this episode's going to be short, it's going to be sweet, and it probably is not going to do that well, because no one wants to hear the reality of the simplistic. Like, again, everyone majors in the minors. Like, they're always wanting to focus on the resveratrols of the world or whatever, and they don't want to hit the hard stuff, which is, you know what? This alcohol is not serving me in any real way.
How many people out there are doing cleanses for toxins?
Yep.
And I'm not saying
how many people are doing a monthly cleanse, liver cleanse, while simultaneously drinking at least 3 drinks a week? That's it. I'm just talking about 2 to 3 drinks a week.
If you're worried about toxins in cleansing, like you got to keep your liver healthy, people, and don't drink alcohol then.
And we know it does such damage to the body. Again, but this is it's the most socially celebrated and accepted toxin that is the reality. And like, again, I want to make sure it's understood. Like, for me personally, I will never judge anybody for what they just like. I have a friend of mine, Dan. He always said this to me when it came to weight loss. Dan made the comment, this was years ago, but he goes, David, he's like, I really respect you because I've met a lot of people who've had a considerable weight loss transformation. And they're all pretentious, judgmental a-holes because they go from, yeah, they did that one time, to now they judge everyone's plate all the time because they are so obsessed with fitness and nutrition and being lean that they look at how could they make these mistakes, and they're judging it. And like, to this day, I know what that life was like. And so I hope by being a spokesperson of proving it with my actions and treating people with respect, that over time, people that have really poor nutritional lifestyles will come to me like, hey, David, I need help. But judging someone, shaming somebody into making a change, it's just not worth it. It's short-sighted. You may help a couple people doing that, but long-term, you're just going to burn more bridges. And same thing with alcohol. It's like the amount of friends, hey, you want to drink? Go drink. I'll go to the bars with you. I don't care. I'm just not drinking. And it is weird that it's pivoted the other way where people know it's not good for you. So they project it and they go, if I can get David to drink, it makes me feel better knowing that I'm not perfect because he's so disciplined. So if I can get him just to drink one drink with me, it makes me feel better what I'm doing.
I think that's the only reason people do that.
I think it's the primary.
I haven't thought.
Maybe I'm a Debbie Downer in the bar. Hey, anyone commenting, people that know me when we go to the bars and I don't drink, am I lame? Comment down below.
You have enough energy. You don't need the alcohol.
I will admit. All right, I'm just going to say, Tom, I love that one. Tom has a hard time with it.
With you not drinking?
No, he doesn't care about that.
With what?
So back when Tom and I were living together years ago, it was right after it was his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And we did back to back big nights of drinking. I didn't. I think I drank the first night and that was it. But I went out to the bar with him all 3 nights because it was his birthday weekend, all this kind of stuff. He drank way too much. He knew it. And by the third day, he's death, just like horrible shape. Finally, he's like, David, I got to find a way to build more balance. I like going to the bars because it's a fun entertainment thing to do at night and all this kind of stuff that involves with that. Like, I need to pull back on drinking. And so for about like 2 weeks or so, we went just on the weekends, we went to a bar or something and we didn't drink. He sat in the booth and was like agitated because he's witnessing how ridiculous drunk people act and how just disheveled and falling over. And you're watching this dude hit on this girl and get just shut down hard. And like there's beers getting fall on the ground. The floors are sticky and all this stuff. And it's if you're sober
See it all,
in a debauchery of a bar, it's an interesting experience. Because like when you have all your senses and you can really view and see everybody for who they are while they're all like hazed out and drunk, it's a different view. But I remember going with Tom, and Tom the first night, we were at the bar for like an hour and he's like, bro, I can't do this. It gives me like anxiety. Like just belligerent, and I'm just sitting here watching it and I don't like this. And it was super funny. He couldn't do it.
I'd rather be drinking or not here. Yeah,
exactly. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how you do this, David. Drunken people coming up, David, and I just
because if you're like your mom, you have no idea when people are drunk.
Well, that's true too.
Some people are not good at catching those cues.
Yeah. I love you, David.
So funny.
Yeah, it's super funny. But as we wrap this thing up, key talking points, kind of alcohol.
We're not saying don't ever drink it, but we are saying be aware of the risks.
Yeah, and again, no one's perfect. Like, could there be some data in the future that shows aspartame causes maybe a small increased risk of like a cancer? Should that be something you consider with how you can be perfect in your lifestyle? Absolutely.
So, David,
the data's not there yet.
The research comes out. Will you stop drinking Diet Coke?
Well, first and foremost, there have been study designs on this, and there's not even a.
Okay, you're answering the question.
1. Yeah, if the data changed, yeah, I would.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you'd still drink it.
Yeah, no. But let's put it this way. I would very much adjust my limits.
Okay.
I'd go from like the 50 milligrams per kilogram body weight, knowing I can realistically drink 25 to 30 Diet Cokes a day. If the data changed and I can only get away with 3 a day,
you still drink 3?
I do 3. Just like we're gonna do a future episode on caffeine and energy drinks, and the data is not 0, but there is a limitation. 400 to 600 milligrams of caffeine should be your max. You shouldn't want to consume more than 200 or 300 milligrams in one sitting, and I live by that.
You do. Except you did have 3 rains, I think, over the weekend.
Touche.
But it was only once.
It was only once. It's rare. It's a rare occasion. Usually it's just 2.
All right. Any other final points that you wanted to take home?
No. I mean, just guys, obviously, perfection's a myth. Progress is the goal, even when it comes to alcohol. There's pros and cons. I've met people that the abstinence and just eliminating is easier, just like how some people like that when it comes to food. And same thing with alcohol. If you find that you're more of a moderation kind of person and you get the binges don't happen because you have 2 drinks in the weekend, great.
Know yourself.
Yeah. If you're a person where 2 drinks turns into 8, turns into 10, turns into 15,
consider not.
Consider just the elimination mindset. I'm done. Like,
life is still fun without alcohol.
I think it'd be more. I would argue it's more fun because you have more energy. Usually your health compositions are better. You're probably not getting cirrhosis at the end of life.
Where did I have a beer the other week? I don't know, but I had it. And then I was like...
Oh, you had a beer at...
yeah, that place.
Yep.
Vivants.
Yeah, it's the...
It's a leaf, broadleaf.
Broadleaf, yep.
So I had 1 beer there and I was exhausted the rest of the night. I'm like, that's not pleasant.
Yeah.
I'm tired enough as this at night, as you know.
Yep.
I don't need a beer to help it.
It affects your sleep quality and it does this, it does this. And
I know there's a lot we didn't talk about. It affects a lot of other things too. But
yeah.
Anyways, so thanks for joining us, everybody. And just be informed.
Yep. Love you. Total.